evening, viewers. You're watching the latest edition of 6 Stories at 6, and I am Rakshita Mishra with you, viewers. The big story is the extradition of the dreaded gangster, most wanted gangster, Anmol Bishnoi. He has been dragged back to Indian soil, and the message being sent out is no criminal who indulges in any anti-India activity or any heinous crime will be spared, no matter in which corner of the world he is. Second story on 6 Stories at 6 is the Pahalgam subsidy, viewers. Air India today knocked the doors of the PMO seeking the subsidy for what losses they incurred during Pahalgam. They're also looking for a China route, looking for permission to use the Chinese airspace. We'll tell you more on that. Story number 3 is the Anti-Rafale campaign that has been initiated for a long time by China, that has been now highlighted in a US report. Now the question arises, did Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party parrot China's line? Was there an understanding? We'll tell you more about that. Also, and story number 4, viewers, is the updates in the 10/11 conspiracy. More evidence have been gathered. The Al-Falah University chairperson, the founder, is under arrest now, and there are voices for sympathies for those terrorists continue to echo in the valley. And finally, we'll also tell you about the land scam case of Pune land scam case. Ajit Pawar's son's name is omitted, is missing from the report. And story number 6 is the showdown at the White House as Trump jumps in to defend Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince, on the Jamal Khashoggi case. He goes on to even threaten a reporter for that. Let's start with the extradition of the most wanted gangster, viewers. After terrorist Tahavur Rana's extradition, the 26/11 conspirator Tahavur Rana's extradition, a most wanted gangster, Anmol Bishnoi, the brother of Lawrence Bishnoi, has been dragged back to India. It's a significant breakthrough as in dismantling this Bishnoi gang's global network. Anmol Bishnoi is facing charges that relate to extortion, organized crime and murder. The Bishnoi gang has been linked to various high-profile crimes. That includes the murder of NCP leader Baba Siddique. The message being sent out, viewers, is very clear. New Delhi says that no one working against the nation, indulging in crimes openly and then fleeing and weaving this entire global network will not be spared. Here's what transpired all throughout the day.
A big win for India. Gangster Anmol Bishnoi was taken into custody by the NIA immediately after being deported from the US and landing at Delhi's IGI airport. Wanted in connection with the killing of NCP leader Baba Siddique, firing at Bollywood star Salman Khan's residence in April 2024, the killing of Punjabi singer Sidhu Moosewala, among other crimes. Anmol was deported from the United States on Tuesday. He was detained in the US in November last year. The Bishnoi gang, led by Lawrence Bishnoi and his brother Anmol, operates extensively in North America, a key hub for their international operations. Anmol, the gang's overseas central strategist, plans extortions, killings and money laundering activities from the US. The gang has been using encrypted communication channels to coordinate their activities, routing hawala money to countries like Canada and Thailand. A key figure in the Bishnoi gang's global operations, Anmol, was the former associate of Canada-based gangster Goldie Brar. The Bishnoi gang operated across 4 states in India, including Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan and Delhi. The arrest of Anmol Bishnoi, the younger brother of jailed gangster Lawrence Bishnoi, marks a significant breakthrough in the fight against organized crime. The deportation is seen as a major diplomatic and investigative success, with Indian agencies working closely with US authorities to bring Anmol to justice.
And the latest, Anmol has been produced in the NIA court. That's the latest update. Meanwhile, shifting focus to other big stories. Air India is once again in the headlines for the wrong reasons. It's this time for the Pahalgam subsidy that they are now seeking. When Operation Sindoor took place, the entire nation, in fact, had lauded the efforts of our forces. But it seems that Air India was more focused on recuperating with their losses, and they continue to lament that. And that's exactly why they claim that they deserve a 4,000 crore rupees subsidy from the Indian government. That is, of course, from the pocket of the taxpayer, the exchequer. It's a claim that comes in with a lot of controversy, viewers. And today they were at the PMO. There was a high-level meeting that was held at the Prime Minister's office, as they also sought the use of Chinese airspace. Take a look.
Air India is back at the government's doorstep, this time with a demand that has triggered immediate questions and serious pushback. After Operation Sindoor and the subsequent airspace disruptions, several international routes tightened. But while every airline faced detours, only Air India is asking a huge taxpayer-funded bailout. The carrier has sought an urgent intervention from the PMO, where a high-level meeting has concluded. And the ask is staggering. Air India is seeking permission to use Chinese airspace and a 40,000 crore subsidy to cover mounting losses. Air India says that the detours post the Pahalgam terror attack have caused fuel burn, crew time extensions, citing mounting operational losses. But here's the real question. If every airline is flying longer routes, why is only Air India claiming crisis-level losses? Should public money be used to compensate a private airline?
In this meeting with the PMO officials, the Secretary from Ministry of Civil Aviation, the Chairman of Airport Authority of India and the CEO of Air India, Campbell Wilson himself was present at the meeting, requesting the PMO that there's an immense, huge, heavy loss which Air India is bearing these days, and there's a fuel costing, there's a crew costing, and there's a high hotel stay and the maintenance and other costs which Air India is bearing right now because of the closure of the Pakistan airspace. And the meeting went on for half an hour. It's very upsetting and surprising at the same time for everyone, for all those families of the victims who lost their loved ones in the Pahalgam terror attack. And here in Air India and its PPD is precisely mentioning that after the Pahalgam terror attack, there has been detour around the Pakistan airspace, the flights which are going to North America, UK and also in the several parts of Middle East, everywhere. Additional 49 to 50 minutes is taking for the aircraft to go, and that is the reason Air India is an immense loss, and the government should help Air India and give the subsidy of rupees 4,000 crore.
Meanwhile, when Republic confronted Air India CEO Campbell Wilson on this controversial demand, he had no clear answers.
Mr. Wilson, Air India is seeking temporary subsidy from government over...
Good morning, Harsha. How are you?
Disclosure.
How are you, Harsha, today? Nice to see you again.
Yes, but you have to respond to the questions. Why
No,
Air India is seeking
I'm
temporary
wishing you good morning.
subsidy?
Good morning. It's nice to see you.
But 4,000 crore temporary subsidy.
No. Good morning.
Not good morning, but we are asking the questions here. Why Air India is seeking temporary subsidy after the Pakistan
And even families connected by the Pahalgam terror attack questioned the airline stance.
After months, a corporate company coming out and claiming 4,000 crores in the name of an operation done against terrorism. This is something which I believe is not justifiable in any way. First of all, no other airlines had made any kind of demand apart from Air India. So they should stop playing victims in this kind of scenarios.
As the meeting concludes at PMO, big question remains. Can a private airline claim 4,000 crores from taxpayer funds and is using Chinese airspace a genuine operational need?
This review report has uncovered a China-led disinformation campaign that was launched after Operation Sindoor, after the terror attack in Pahalgam and Operation Sindoor. And the report says that China used fake social media accounts and AI-generated images of supposed Rafale debris to push the claim that the jets were destroyed. all to promote its own J-35 fighters, who really does not have any takers. In fact, we was back in July also, the French officials and French Defense Ministry officials had also said that there was a campaign that was being run by the Chinese against the Rafale fighters, using their officials in the embassies, using their envoys as well. And now this report has also reiterated the same facts. Here's more how Congress seemingly also parroted the same tone what China has been singing. The question arises, was this a Congress-backed campaign? It started with a tragedy and escalated into a high-stakes showdown. In April, a deadly terror attack took place in Kashmir's Pahalgam. India's response was swift and surgical, as was seen during Operation Sindoor. It was Indian Air Force Chief, Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh, who had confirmed the mission's success. 5 Pakistani fighter jets and a massive surveillance aircraft.
3 of their hangars in 3 different stations have been damaged, and in that hangar as well as on tarmac, we have signs of one C-130 class of aircraft, one AEWC class of aircraft, and at least 4 to 5 fighter aircraft, most likely F-16, because that base happened to be F-16, which would have been under maintenance that time. Along with that, one SAM system, which has been destroyed. And so these are the strikes that, the destruction that has taken place on ground by our strikes.
And now, a report by an American agency has uncovered a massive disinformation campaign against Rafale. The US-China Economic and Security Review Commission's annual report lays it bare. China exploited the India-Pakistan flare-up with grey zone tactics. Fake social media accounts flooded with AI-generated images of Rafale debris painted a false picture. The goal was to smear the Rafale's reputation on the world stage and hype China's own J-35 stealth fighter as the superior choice. The campaign is being seen as opportunistic warfare, timed right after Operation Sindoor, aimed to undermine India's momentum and peddle Beijing's defense exports. But what is shocking is that this narrative has been parroted by Congress in India. While Beijing attempted to hinder Rafale's sale, Congress attacked the government, claiming Rafales were shot down by Pakistan. They echoed the Chinese line to peddle fake news time and again. They questioned repeatedly the armed forces, asking for sabut while operations were on. Has the Congress been hand in glove with China in pushing the anti-Rafale discourse? Now, the 10/11 Delhi terror attack probe has now exploded into a multi-layered investigation that spans from Kashmir, terror financing, cross-border threats and explosive digital evidence from terrorist Umar Nabi. What began as a single blast has now exposed an entire ecosystem. The epicenter, Al-Falah University's chairperson in the latest, has been arrested. Lakhs of rupees in cash has been recovered from one of the trustees. Entire funding of this university is being investigated. While the agencies are working round the clock, security forces turning no stone unturned to fight against terror. Voices of sympathy, viewers, for these white-collar jihadis continue to be raised. Like mother, like daughter. Mehbooba Mufti's daughter and PDP leader, Iltija Mufti, has gone on to justify them, calling it a vicious cycle that has led to the educated youth in the valley to turn to terrorism. Chief Minister of Jammu Kashmir, Omar Abdullah, is not far behind. Take a look at this report. The Delhi blast investigators have pulled out 4 explosive videos from terrorist Umar Nabi's phone. These videos, recovered after advanced digital extraction, have now been handed over to the NIA. The probe further reveals Umar had secretly passed this phone to his younger brother during a visit to Srinagar, instructing him to dump it in a drain outside their home, a planned destruction of evidence. The finances behind radical networks are also under the lens. The Al Falah owner has been arrested in another case.
Enforcement Directorate has made a major arrest in the Al Falah University money laundering case. The ED has taken into custody Javed Ahmad Siddique, the chairperson of Al Falah Group and the man who effectively controls the Al Falah Trust. According to ED, the man was taken into custody when the investigators found links that large amount of fund was being diverted from the trust to family-owned companies, including contracts of construction and catering to companies which were linked to his wife and children.
Trust founder Javed Siddique was picked up last night, hours after agencies seized around 35 lakh rupees in cash from a trustee.
The ED has seized a cash of over 48 lakhs, digital devices, documents and details related to the shell companies. In a major development, the Delhi court has remanded Javed Siddique to a 13-day ED custody, finding that there are reasonable grounds to believe that he did commit the offence of money laundering. The ED is now on the track of tracing the full money trail and finding out the extent of the proceeds of crime.
As new details emerge and more arrests are made, Omar Abdullah, the chief minister, is doing exactly what he should not have: play the victim card, saying all Kashmiris are being targeted.
दिल्ली में जो हुआ, चंद लोग उसके लिए जिम्मेदार हैं, लेकिन एक ऐसा तासुर पैदा करने की कोशिश की गई कि इसमें हम सब जो है कसूरवार हैं, हम सब इसमें मिले हुए हैं। आज तो ना दिल्ली में जम्मू कश्मीर के रजिस्ट्रेशन वाली गाड़ी चलाना भी एक जुर्म के तौर पर समझा जाता है।
Meanwhile, Iltija Mufti of the PDP too has attempted to justify the terrorists, calling for introspection as to why educated individuals have turned to terror. Opposition politicians seem intent on targeting India, and in the process, they are giving Pakistan a clean chit. Now, committee probing the controversial 300 crore rupee land deal in Pune submitted its report, and it does not name Parth Pawar, who is the son of Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar, the NCP leader, NCP chief. The panel, however, has indicted 3 people already named in this police FIR. But the question arises, who is shielding Parth Pawar? Here's the full story.
A 3-member committee, headed by Joint IGR Rajendra Muthe, has submitted its report in the 300 crore Mundhwa land deal case. The land, 43 acres, in Pune's upscale Mundhwa area, is government-owned and could not legally be sold. Yet, it was sold to Amedia Enterprises LLP, a firm in which Parth Pawar is a partner. The interim report spoke of irregularities in a plot valued at over 1,800 crores, sold for just 300 crores to Amedia Enterprises LLP. The state later scrapped the deal, calling the violations serious and deliberate. But investigators say Parth's name does not appear on any document linked to the sale. As a result, the committee report makes no reference to Parth Pawar. Instead, the committee has indicted 3 people named in the FIR: suspended Sub-Registrar Ravindra Taru, Digvijay Patel, who is Parth Pawar's business partner, and Sheetal Tejwani, who held the power of attorney on behalf of the land sellers.
This committee has held accountable 3 personals only, those name mentioned in sold it. Now the question is, if someone is beneficiary from that land deal, why his or her name not mentioned in the report? Because we know that company which is involved in this Pune land scheme is Media Enterprise and is co-owned by Ajit Pawar's son Parth Pawar. And all details, all papers are there only, and till date, the Parth Pawar is the co-owner of that company. Parth Pawar was beneficiared by these deals. Why his name not came in this report? That's why this report is raising questions.
Sub-Registrar Taru is accused of using a skip option in the registration system, bypassing mandatory checks on government land. The probe also found shocking financial gaps. The 300 crore deal should have attracted 21 crore in stamp duty, but the firm linked to Parth paid only Rs 500. Despite this, neither the FIR nor the committee report names Parth, even though he remains a director in the company at the center of the controversy. But the records show Parth Pawar signed the LLP resolution. He signed stamp duty waiver proposals worth crores, and his signature appears on internal registration approvals. These raise the question, if he signed key documents linked to the transaction, why is he not named in the findings? Officials maintain that the committee's mandate was narrow, limited to procedural lapses, not criminal liability. But critics argue that if Parth signed resolutions, approvals and waiver requests, his role cannot be dismissed. A separate high-powered committee, headed by the Additional Chief Secretary, is now examining whether these signatures and approvals amount to greater responsibility. Meanwhile, Media Enterprises has been issued a notice to pay Rs 42 crores in stamp duty after the deal was cancelled. The company has 7 days to respond. And as documents repeatedly show Parth Pawar's signatures on key approvals, the central question remains, if it was his company and his paperwork, how was he not named in the probe report?
The US and Saudi Arabia approved a civilian nuclear deal and the sale of F-35 jets as Trump sought to brush the murder and dismemberment of the Washington Post columnist under the carpet. In fact, Trump raged at a journalist, a woman journalist, who asked the prince in the Oval Office about the case for embarrassing the Saudi royal on his first US trip since the murder, and called Khashoggi extremely controversial. Trump, in fact, escalated his confrontation with women journalists, calling a Bloomberg reporter piggy and a terrible reporter to an ABC News correspondent. He accused the channel of peddling fake news and also urged regulators to look at revoking its license. Basically, he was indirectly threatening the channel very much publicly at the White House. Take a look.
US President Donald Trump has frequently demonstrated his disdain for journalists. In one such incident on Tuesday, Trump lashed out at a reporter after she questioned the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman on orchestrating the 2018 killing of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi by Saudi agents.
As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen, but he knew nothing about it.
Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is on his first White House visit in 7 years. Meanwhile, the Saudi Arabia Crown Prince denied any wrongdoing and said that Saudi Arabia did all the right things to investigate Khashoggi's death.
About the journalists, it's really painful to hear anyone that been losing his life for no real purpose or not in a legal way, and it's been painful for us in Saudi Arabia. We've did all the right steps of investigation, etc. in Saudi Arabia, and we've improved our system to be sure that nothing happened like that, and it's painful and it's a huge mistake, and we are doing our best that this doesn't happen again.
The US saw the relationship had deteriorated after Jamal Khashoggi's 2018 murder, with the US intelligence suggesting Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman likely ordered the operation. However, 7 years later, President Trump has strengthened ties with the 40-year-old prince, viewing him as crucial to shaping the Middle East's future. Trump then went on to lash out at an ABC reporter and her network over a question about releasing the Epstein files.
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC.
Trump was also asked about his family's business dealings in the kingdom, but Trump denied having any relation to those business deals. He pushed back on the notion and said there was conflict of interest.
Coming in right now, the NIA has been granted 11-day custody of Anmol Bishnoi. That's the big breaking news we have right now. He has been just been produced after being dragged back to India at the Patiala House Court, the NIA court in Patiala House Court. Now, NIA has got the 11-day custody of Anmol Bishnoi. That's the breaking news we have right now. Most wanted gangster. One of the most wanted gangster, Anmol Bishnoi, extradited back to India. He has been dragged back on Indian soil, and NIA now gets 11-day custody of Anmol Bishnoi. Okay, that's all we could pack in this edition of 6 Story at 6. We'll be right back with the breaking updates on that story, as we are keeping a very, very close eye on the NIA custody of Anmol Bishnoi. Stay tuned to Republic TV. Don't go anywhere.